got you a gift, Mom. I'm a good son. And she's been yelling at me a lot recently because I'm doing that. And she gives me a shit ton of money, so I figured I'd show her some love. And I decided to write a stand-up act about her. And so I started looking into her life, and when I started, I just thought it would be about this woman that I'd known all my life. This very wise, semi-patient woman who was always there for me and knew when I made mistakes and helped me get through those. And it never occurred to me that starting out she was not that person. She had to grow into it. So I was shocked to discover my mom was kind of a dumbass as a kid. And so it was an interesting experience coming up with this stand-up for me. When my mom was born in New Zealand, which already that tells you something about her character, because the New Zealander people who their greatest hate is of Australians because they have similar accents and they hate being confused with each other. There's like, fuck you Australians, fuck you, just because they don't want to be confused. But so, my mom lived on this beautiful bay. Like, it was gorgeous. The sun would shine down on the water. It looked like diamonds were in the water. You could swim out to this beautiful island. And her brothers, they would walk along the beach and collect wood. And then they would compete with the other neighborhood boys to see who could build the biggest bonfire. And the parents were like, oh, cool, they're setting fires. It's so great. And then on Guy Fawkes Day, they would craft this figure out of wood and straw and set on fire. And the parents were like, oh, that's so cute. They're setting little humans on fire. Whereas today, parents would be like, oh, my God, my kids are setting little humans on fire. They are anarchists. Arsonists in training, they're fucked up as shit, oh my God! But at the time it was very cute. But my granddad, he wanted to be a professor, so he moved his entire family to Cleveland, Ohio, which was on the bay of Lake Erie, which was this beautiful lake. My family was really excited to go swimming in it, you know, just like the good old days in the bay. When they got there, they found this green, polluted sludge pit with oil on the top. And you couldn't go swimming in it because if you did, you'd come out with a third arm growing out of your stomach, which just isn't very appealing. Maybe if it grew out of your side, that'd be cool, because at least that, like, it's kind of functional. Whenever your stomach can't put shirts on, it's just frustrating that way. And also about that time, the Cuyahoga River caught on fire. So there are two theories to this one. One is that my mom, this was like signifying what my mom was going to do to this country, moving here. The other is that her brothers graduated from arsonists in training to actual arsonists. So if that's the case, good job, Uncle Al and Dave. And my mom did some stupid shit as a kid. Her and her sister, they wanted to play fairy godmother. So my mom was going to be the fairy godmother. She goes to the shed, and she's looking for something to be the one. She just can't find anything. Then she finds what she thinks is the perfect thing. So she grabs the sledgehammer and goes to tap my Aunt Pat on the head with the sledgehammer. But it turns out that she does not have the arm strength to hold up a sledgehammer at the age of 7. And so she just smashes my Aunt Pat on the head. And I think she's over it at this point. I don't know why she would be. That's kind of obnoxious. And then later on, my Aunt Pat, she drew this picture, which her parents were very proud of her for. And so her parents at a dinner party called Aunt Pat down and were like, hey, Aunt Pat, show all of our friends this picture. And she showed it off. And my sister was my mother was fucking pissed that she got to show her picture. So my mom put it behind the radiator where it's set on fire. There's something about fire in this fucking family, I'm telling you. But later on, my mom grew up and she went to this urban city kids summer camp, like as a counselor, and that's where she met my dad. And on the first day, she's sitting outside at this kids summer camp smoking a cigarette with a safety pin in her ear. And my dad sees her, and he's like this nerdy guy. He's a Eagle Scout. He was going to be a minister. He's that kid who in 6th grade wore the Boy Scout outfit to school because he thought it was super fucking cool. So he's just total nerd. And after that first day, he goes away and he's like, wow, that Nancy, she could be somebody I marry someday. She's amazing. My mom goes away from it thinking, that Clark is a fucking asshole. I do not want to talk to that guy anymore. She did not get her wish. 30 years later, she has talked to him a lot more, and I still think, she's pretty sure he's still a dick. But so eventually they did start dating. But then they were going camping, and they had set up all their camp gear as if they were dating. But on the way to go camping, my mom decided to break up with him. And so my dad, he just thinks this is the stupidest idea, so he says no. I've never heard of anyone ever saying no to being broken up with. It seems like a very odd way to continue a relationship to me. But it worked out, I guess. Very strangely it worked out. And then they moved to a farm, and it's Valentine's Day, and my dad ingeniously says to my mother, I'm not going to get you anything for Valentine's Day. He says he said it because he didn't want to buy into the commercialized, corporate America version of Valentine's Day. The way my mom heard it was, I'm too lazy and too poor to get you anything for Valentine's Day. And she did not like that, surprisingly enough. And so they broke up, but about 24 hours they got back together. And then they decided they wanted to take the relationship to the next level. And so they started practicing proposals. Not actually proposing. My dad would take her out onto the lake on a boat with this beautiful picnic, and then he would practice propose. Who the fuck practices proposals multiple times? My mom would do it, then he would do it again, then she would do it, then he would do it again. He even fucked up one of them. How do you fuck up a practice proposal? He brought chocolates to propose with. She went up to change, then he ate all the fucking chocolates. What the fuck? Who does that? My dad does that, that's who. So eventually they get married, and my parents have always raised me with the idea of simplicity. You don't need too much. They had 3 fucking ministers. Who needs 3 fucking ministers when you need 1? Especially when one of them was a fucking clown. How can you folks start marrying something that's this big bright nose, just like right there? You're talking to Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer the entire time you're getting fucking married. And then for the bonding moment, he ties their wrists together with string. It's like you are now connected together, but you are not separate from the community. So he throws the string out into the crowd and connects all of them with the string because they are part of the community as well. And the entire time this beautiful thing is happening. And so they're doing this beautiful ceremony with the strings attaching to the community, and my mom's just laughing. And so her dad just leans over and smacks her upside the head. This is a serious moment, young lady, don't laugh. And my mom looks down at the ground. At her own fucking wedding, she gets smacked upside the head. But so anyways, my parents decided they didn't want to die at Gold Farm. So they went to Boston, where my mom started studying for a medical degree, and they were living in this like house for people with some mental issues who were learning to live in society. My parents were like caretakers there, but they lived under this one guy who just paced back and fucking forth, and listening to this god-awful orchestra music, and every once in a while they would just hear him fall to his knees and scream, "Oh my fucking God!" And this time, my mom's trying to do this very hard study. She's just looking up at the ceiling like, you motherfucker. And she can't do anything about it because he's crazy. So finally, she does the only thing she can, and she stomps upstairs and gives him some good music that she likes and says, listen to this shit instead. But she says it nicely because he's crazy. And so then she would hear the beautiful, soothing music. Oh my fucking God! So it was a little more bearable. After both my parents got their medical degrees, they went to the Navajo Res, and my mom started training for this marathon. She was super pumped. She vowed to my father that the only thing that would stop her from doing this fucking marathon would be if she got pregnant. And she got pregnant a month later. And that is how Cody got her name, Cody Dreamwrecker Reed McKee. I'm sorry, that's a lie. It's Cody Fairmaid, but I think that would have been a more accurate term. But my parents decided that they would not let her ruin their adventurous lifestyle. So, first chance they got, after she was born, my dad strapped her to his chest, they went canoeing, and the canoe flipped right over. And so she was strapped to his chest as this was happening. So I'm pretty sure she drowned a little bit and lost some brain cells, and that's how she, that's why she dropped out of college. But anyways, but then about 3 years later, the real important thing happened, and I was born. Now most babies when they're born, they do it like a slip and slide, you know, head first, like, fly out. But me, I never did slip and slides. I did water slides. On water slides, you had to go feet first. So I was a little confused and thought I had to go feet first down these rules. But so I came out ass first. And the nurse had to shove her hands up my mother and rip my legs down in birth. So my mom had to go through this incredibly painful birthing process. But at the end of it all, she gathered her strength and she picked me up. She looked into my eyes and she said those 3 magical words. You little shit! Now, my theory is that because she said that I became a little shit, she swears she was just looking into the future and saw what would happen. But I like my version better. But even through that all, my parents were still patient with me. Through me clawing a kid's face until he bled, or running away from home because I didn't want to eat green beans, with my mom just following me behind in the car because she wanted me to feel like I had some freedom, even though she didn't want me to die on the fucking streets. To the moment when I strangled fucking Grayson because he said he made the game throwing the pine cones when I fucking made the game throwing the fucking pine cones. She was patient with me through all of that. And because she had done stupid shit too. And so she knew what it was like and that I would learn from those and grow into a better person because of it. And she imbued in me this fire. Because the Cuyahoga River caught on fucking fire because my mom's personality is that fucking bright and that fucking fiery that it caught on fire. And now my mom is going to college for the 4th fucking time! And she does her papers a month in advance just to make you all feel like shit. I did not inherit that. I inherited my dad's ADHD, sadly. But that's what my mom does. But she's going to college to be a social justice minister, to spread fire, to create change in her community. And that is where the fire of the Reed family has gone. The fucking fire has never died. And now when I was practicing this with my friends, they told me I had to come up with an end or some meaning to this skit. But the thing is, my mom's not dead yet. And so there is not an end. So I don't know why I should have an end to this act. So instead, I'm just going to say, I love you, Mom, and thank you for listening.
Happy birthday, Sarah's mom.